Welcome to Jackson the Pod. I'm Jack John.
I'm Jack Velasquez, and this is the divisional playoff round in the NFL. So we'll be going over those picks this week. Are you excited, Jack John?
I am, even though I did awful last week. All you gotta look at it is this is a week to come back.
Yeah, man. I mean, I went 0-5 once, and I came back and ended strong. So you still have a chance.
Yeah, so I just gotta turn it around as soon as this motorcycle gets by my house.
The good thing is there's less games for you to get wrong.
I know.
If you think of it if you think of it that way, you're running out of chances to be wrong.
What's crazy is I think that if I still went the same percentage of wins as I did last week, I'd still get the same amount of games right this week. I
That's
think
true. Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
done the math on that, but I think it's right.
I think yeah. Well, I think there's still four. There's four games this week and four games last week right now.
Well, there was six. Oh yeah, there's 4 games last week, but there was six because of the college. So now there's only
Oh, right, right. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, yeah. As everyone knows, we had a couple jack offs. Obviously, I won a majority of them.
one.
Uh,
You won two, one more.
yeah. And we will be going over the lines here for the divisional card round, like we said, and then we'll do the college football championship. So let's just dive in. I don't know if we're gonna have any jack. We definitely know we have one jack off, but we'll see if we have multiple ones. So let's just start at the top of the slate on the Saturday games. Saturday games, we got both one seeds playing. So let's start in the AFC, which is the first game. Chiefs are at home versus the Texans. And the line is -8.5. That's 8.5 to the Chiefs. So, Jack John, who do you have?
Easy one, Chiefs. This is a classic Texans lose the following round. This is their ultimate pull. Is like they're like, oh, surprise! Everyone picked against us in the horrible Saturday game, and now we've won. So now we're gonna show up and bam, we're gonna get smacked. This is
Wow.
this is a
Yeah.
Texans classic.
Do you think Texans gonna get smacked? Do you think it's gonna be more than like what, 10 or more?
It may be 10 or more. May have to
Well,
look at it.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I got the Texans here +8.5.
Wow.
Um, I so like I heard something today that like over the last 21 games, the Chiefs have been involved in 17 one-score games. So one-score games is like seven or less.
Yeah.
The Tech that's 8.5, and like I know that they're on like a break here. They've been off on a bye, the Chiefs, and so like they're coming in fresher than the Texans. But during that Christmas period, they played against each other, and the Texans did pretty well until I think Tank Dell like lost his knee. He scored that touchdown, and then his knee blew up, and then they were down 1 point, and then it got away from them. It got away from them because best their best friend and one of their players lost his knee.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I have the best friend component. I watched that game with our buddy Shane. I picked the
I'm
Chiefs
Petty Jane.
in that game, and the Texans were awful. They looked awful the whole time, and then it just sealed the deal when Dale went down. But
All
yeah,
right.
that's my bias. But you do you do you. Give me a
All
jack.
right. Well, you know what? Maybe it's still Christmas time and I'm here to give you a present. And I gave you a pick and a jack off by taking the Texans. I just feel like it's going to be a closer game, maybe like a backdoor cover. I don't know. I just like the Chiefs I don't feel like they're going to blow anyone out. I don't feel like that this
I think
year.
Spags is one of the best defensive coordinators, if not the best defensive coordinator in the NFL right now. The Chiefs
Yeah.
defense is one of the best. Going against Texans offense, that's always a little anemic. And then you've got Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. The dude's a wizard. Uh,
Yeah.
and I just hope you realize that when you're watching him, you're like, wow, I picked against possibly the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, like, but I don't feel like I'm picking against them. I feel like it's like a 6 point. Like, I feel like six is better than 8.5. 8.5 is a lot.
It is possible. I just feel like the Chiefs may have tried to they tried to build this up like, oh, we don't cover games, and then boom, we're in the playoffs. Different.
Yeah.
Andy Reid's all geared up, Spags is all geared up.
Yeah, they're just been
He's
toasting.
he's
Yeah.
rested.
Yeah. They're just keeping their like, yeah, they're just like cruise control. And then they got to like pass somebody in the fast lane. And then now they're going to turn it on.
I mean, they
Uh,
basically added a player, Travis Kelce, who's basically sat out the whole year.
I know, like that's the hard part for me is like I I've just like my eyes have showed me something else. They have looked good these past couple of weeks, but they also haven't played like great opponents. Like they looked good against the Steelers, and like the Steelers were awful. Like the Steelers actually just turned out to be awful. They looked good against the Chargers. The Chargers just might not have been actually that good. Um, so I just feel like the Texans might keep this closer than what we think. So 8.5. I mean, at one point it was 9.5. If we were doing this earlier in the day, it was 9.5, which would have felt great. But 8.5, I still feel okay with that here. But I did bet like a couple like Chiefs props, like anytime touchdown props. Again, going back to the point where like I don't think they're good on the offense. I picked their other white tight ends, the non-Kelsey white tight ends. I did Noah Gray or Justin Watson to like score anytime touchdowns. They look just like Kelsey, but they're not. Um, and that was like plus 500 and plus 750 for each of those. So
Yeah,
I think
I never do anytime touchdowns for the Chiefs, because it's always like something weird. I don't know. They are a weird offense.
yeah. All right. Well, jack off number one. All right, we'll go to the NFC number one seed. We got the Lions minus 8.5. Also at home against the Commanders, the Red Hot Commanders.
Who you got in this one?
I got the Lions. The Lions are my ride or die. They are my when you think of the bad boys, meme, we ride together, we die together.
Yeah.
That's my line. Like it would cut from my face to the Lions logo. Like I love this team. I know you said the Texans were the hot team coming in and like, oh, be careful of who looked good last round. My thing is it's the Commanders. The Commanders win. Everyone's all happy. They're talking them up. They're going to Detroit. Detroit wants to win the Super Bowl. They're coming in hot, angry, and I just feel like Dan Campbell puts in one of those classic like 31-14, just like shellackings of a team, and where they like have like a tight end or a offensive lineman score a touchdown. So I got the Lions minus 8.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did not. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going against Lions. I've
Yeah.
gone against them all year. They keep showing up, especially against this Commanders team, which, I mean, really they should have lost that game if not for a fumble last week. Congrats for them. Like that was their feel good win. Like
Right.
they got it. Now they're ready to go back to being the Commanders. Um,
Yeah.
Also, I foresee them going for it on fourth down like 5 times. They don't have a field goal kicker.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
I really wish that there was a prop where you could bet who makes more fourth downs, the Lions or the Commanders. Lions 100%.
Yeah. Well, like my thing is though, like I don't even think the Lions are going to need the four downs. They're just going to score so quickly. Um, and like yeah, that kicker like has OCD too, so he's like he's got to like touch every. Have you seen that video online of him like fixing his sock? I'll send it to you, but like he's like got OCD. Like he fixes his hair right before he puts on um the helmet, and then he like tries to put on the helmet, and then he realizes it's wrong, and then he like has to fix it again. Weird guy. I'll send you that video. But yeah, Lions easily. My only concern about the Lions is that like the Packers and the like we all thought the NFC North was really good, right? But the Packers and Vikings got like kind of manhandled in their games. So like
They were
is the
also on
NFC
the road
North
playing
that
good
good?
teams. Um,
Yeah, I guess so.
and their quarterback, one quarterback was injured, and the other one was about on the verge of a mental breakdown. So
Yeah. Yeah. And the Rams were on fire. So like can't stop them. Uh All right. Speaking about the Rams, let's go to the Sunday slate here. This is so sad. We're only picking 4 games this week as opposed to 5 typically, and next week will just be 2. But we got the Rams on the road against the Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 6.5. Big lines here, man, for playoff games. Minus 6.5 for the Eagles. Who do you have? Eagles versus Rams.
I got the Rams. Rams look great. I think they're solid. And like I said before, I've been waiting for a chance to bet against the Eagles. Here's my opportunity.
Okay. Uh, one thing I don't know if you know, it's going to snow there, and it's going to be very cold. How do you think that affects the Rams?
It's not great, but then again, I think Hurts isn't going to run the ball.
Right.
Stafford, I think he's just going to get a lot of open Puka Nakua. Just, I think people are going to fall down and there's going to be like a lot of wide open. I don't trust the Philly defense. And yeah, Saquon's great. But I think, once you stop him, I don't trust the rest of the Eagles offense. Jalen Hurts looked awful.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, like the Packers could have actually have won that game if Jordan Love was like just 10% better. They would have won that game. So I'm with you on that. I love the Rams. I think the Rams are the best team next to the Lions, and so I'm really looking forward to like a Lions Rams NFC Championship game. Like, does Matthew Stafford go to the Super Bowl and beat the Lions in Detroit, or does Detroit beat their old, lovable quarterback? I think like if the NFL wants to fix it some way, fix it that way.
Yeah.
Fix it that way for the fans, to just make it enjoyable for us all.
That'd be the ultimate Detroit, like exercise your demons if you beat Matt Stafford in the playoffs to be like, hey,
Right.
you left us to win a Super Bowl. Now we're leaving you behind to go retire.
Yeah. No, I would love that. I would be all about that game. Okay. Last game. This one's a doozy. Um, Started off with the Bills favored at home against the Ravens, but it's switched. Now the Ravens are favored by a point and a half on the road against Josh Allen. Jack John, who do you have?
Give me the MVP. And by
Oh,
MVP, I mean the real MVP, Josh Allen, the guy who's
wow.
going to win it. Uh, yeah, let him feel that hate. Let that Buffalo crowd be like, you're going to give someone favored in our stadium during the playoffs. That's not Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Do you know how hard it is to win there? Like Patrick Mahomes almost lost last year and it took like one of his games to win it. I'm sorry. Lamar Jackson may put up stats better than Patrick Mahomes. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
I
Yeah,
agree.
let's see him win a game. Like go go be the MVP, dude.
Right. I feel like your approach is like you'd rather be proven wrong with Lamar Jackson than proven right. Uh, but I'm gonna go try and be proven right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Ravens minus 1.5. I just feel like the Henry edition is just like too much, and I don't know. I just feel like this is like when it opened plus 1.5 Ravens, I was like, oh yeah, definitely Ravens. But like you said, the underdog, home underdog, like which is what we should have saw with the Texans last week. We should have just saw that like Chargers favored on the road. Like no, the Chargers are still the Chargers. Lamar might still be Lamar. But I don't know. I just feel like it's the Ravens. But like what we talked about, like with the Rams versus Lions, if I was a fan of the NFL and I could fix it, I'd be like Rams, Lions, NFC Championship, Bills, Chiefs, AFC Championship. Like those are the two like that would just like
That's the game we want. That's the best football of all time is when you're watching the Chiefs versus
Bills.
Bills.
I
Like
know.
those last year it was amazing. I was driving home from I think somewhere or driving home from Santa Fe, listening to it on the radio, and I had to call you because I was like, man, this game's insane.
Yeah. No, man, they're always good matchups. We had that other one where like, the like 42-38 or 35, like crazy overtime game. That was like one of the best football games we've ever seen at Princess Pub.
Shout
But
out
yeah,
to them.
yeah, well, I know we don't talk about Princess Pub anymore, but we love Princess Pub. Uh, but
A bathroom that still hasn't been cleaned since we've last been there.
yeah, I don't think it's ever been clean since it's opened. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with the Ravens just out of like that's who I think's the better team, but I definitely do feel like the Bills will take that motivate. I won't be surprised if the Bills.
Yeah, give me the money line. Don't
Yeah.
even get the points.
All right. Okay, that's it. So we got two jackoffs. I got the Texans, you got the Chiefs. I got the Ravens, you got the Bills, and then we both agree on the Lions and Rams. So there we go. That's who we got. So we'll see what happens come next Sunday, which would be a great Sunday. But we'll transition to the Monday night game, which is college football. It'll be the inauguration day. It'll be Martin Luther King Day, which I was looking at the calendar. I was like, oh man, like poor Martin Luther King.
What a
Like,
dream.
yeah, he's like, what? He's like, this is not my dream. This is not move the day, move the goddamn day. Yeah. So, We've got Notre Dame versus Ohio State. It is Notre Dame underdogs by 8.5 points. I think I know where your heart is, mostly because that's where your wallet is. Who do you have?
In honor of Dr. King, I have a dream, and it was that Notre Dame would win this whole thing. At
Yeah,
plus 700, I've got them. I'm locked in. Uh, Once again, good for Ohio State to make it here. And, they never were an eighth seed. They were always the number one seed. Uh, they just don't. I've watched them. They're a very good team from top to bottom. It's just Notre Dame's got that heart. They got that spirit. I love the quarter. I mean, Ohio State quarterback Will Howard. I mean, guy's awful. He is the
yeah,
worst part about their team. And Riley Leonard may be the best part of the Notre Dame team, if not for their defense. So it's going to be a tough, low scoring game. Give me a ground and pound Notre Dame team over the over those Buckeyes.
yeah. So like, um, I I don't know who to choose here. I got no skin in the game. I just can't stand Riley Leonard and his Jesus talk. Like hey, like Jesus, like he said something today where like Jesus put him like Ohio State and Notre Dame because they believed the most in Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ rewarded them. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't do that. I'm gonna go Ohio State minus 8.5. I just like once you start like berating me with like Jesus is the reason why you're here and others aren't. I'm like, but Jesus loves everybody. Like, why would he do that to everybody?
Are you
So
listening to Jesus? Give me the jack off this week. He's
yeah,
he's calling you out on a podcast.
on one of the most viewed podcasts in America. Uh, yeah, we're gonna have three jack offs this week. Maybe you go, maybe you go 3-0. Maybe Jesus will be looking out for you.
Change the stats.
Yeah, and you win $700 or however much you would win. How much would you win on this bet?
I think 800.
Oh, nice. Perfect. There you go. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna pick Ohio State. I just think they look so much better than everybody else. And Notre Dame, I just don't really think that they didn't impress me versus Penn State. They haven't really impressed me this whole time, so I'm just going to pick the team that looked dominant throughout this entire thing, and let Texas stay around. I thought they were like much better than Texas. So, and Ohio State's beat up like pretty good quarterbacks. They beat up Gabriel. They beat up uh, Ewers or whatever his name is,
The
and
Tennessee
then
quarterback.
and then Riley Leonard. He doesn't even throw the ball. Like I feel better if the backup quarterback was in as opposed to Riley
He's
Leonard.
Josh Allen light, as Coward says. He's got 5% of them.
Riley Leonard?
Yeah.
No, that guy's not good. Like all the quarterbacks in this draft class are awful looking.
I
Like
mean, all of them, I'd probably take a chance on Riley Leonard.
what? Oh my God, that guy can't throw the ball. I like was watching that game. I was like, none of these quarterbacks can throw.
Well, no one in the NFL can either. So,
Well, you know who can?
who?
CJ Stroud and Lamar Jackson can throw the ball pretty well.
I mean, when it doesn't matter, but we'll see.
All right. Well, that's what we got. So Jack John and I are gonna have a contentious weekend this weekend. It's not gonna be happy. We're not gonna be uh, you know, I don't even know if we're gonna be friends. I don't know if this is gonna come back next year.
We make that thread every week, but at this point now, it just feels comfortable. Now I need it.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to reverse the trend, right? Like yeah, at least you won one jack off last week, and let's just hope that's Notre Dame.
That's all the one I. That's really the one I want.
Yeah. I've also been like very terrible at my picks. And also I listened to cousin Sal and he's also been very terrible on his college football picks. He picked Ohio State. So like I think he's literally gotten one game right this entire playoff. Or two right this entire playoff. So I think you're in good hands with Notre Dame if cousin Sal picked Ohio State.
Let's go Irish.
Yeah.
Play like
All
a
right.
champion today.
Yeah, there we go. So next weekend we'll come back and we'll do the conference championships and then we'll do the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl, I think we'll just bring up props, right? And like all the
Yeah.
ones that we like.
We'll do
Yeah.
our great prop breakdown, which
Yeah,
is truly my masterpiece in life.
it is. You do have some good ones in there. I'm looking forward to pulling money out of my savings account and dumping it into FanDuel during Super Bowl weekend.
There we go.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you guys all next week, and thanks for tuning in.
Have a good week.